So on this one, the job is, it's a little different. I like this question because we have to actually do some thinking about how to set this up. We have to interpret this a little bit. They don't give us some obvious equation that we can just dive into and start solving here. We've got to figure out, how do I set up an equation that I can solve, okay? So I need to get to a point where I've got, like right now, if I isolate the x, that's not going to do me any good because I'm going to have f of x's on the other side. No, we don't want that. We want to get a number answer, right? Or maybe two number answers possibly. We'll see. So how can I do this? I've got to somehow take advantage of this information that they give me up here to turn this into an equation that I can solve. Say it again. I can't distribute the 7 because this is being squared, okay? And I don't want to do that anyway. I've got a single x I can point to, but the problem is I don't have this equal to a number on the other side. How come? How come? Well, you're right, but we got to know why, because it might be a different question next time, right? We just got to know how to interpret this. So what is significant about x-intercepts? That must be meaningful. What do you know about x-intercepts? Okay, they go through the x-axis. Okay, that's important. So then what's true of all the points on the x-axis? All the points on the x-axis must have something important in common that we can use here. Y is 0, right? If it's on the x-axis, if they're x-intercepts, so they're places where our graph intersects the x-axis, then those must be places where y is equal to 0. So f of x is just a fancy name for y, right? So that also means f of x is equal to 0. Okay, well that's good. That means I can just plug a value of 0 into that side of the equation for f of x. And now I've got something I can deal with, right? That's going to give me the equation, this expression over here, 7 times the quantity x minus 2 squared minus 5 is equal to 0. But let's put the equal 0 on the right side so it looks normal. Okay, now we're good, right? That's something we can deal with. Okay, what if I had said instead something like this? What if I had changed the directions on this and I had said find values of x where f of x equals 20, what would I do? F of x equals 20, what would I do? Yeah, plug 20 in for f of x and solve. And then that's the math gods' way of I just have to if I can give the equation to the math gods through algebra, they will tell us the answers, right? But I got to know how to ask the question, I guess, right? So here's how I could ask that question. I would just set all this stuff equal to 20 instead of 0. And I just have a different equation to solve. Is it any harder? Not really. Just different. Okay? Give me 1 to 5 on that. Does that make sense? How we're setting this up? Okay? Okay, ooh, that's even better than 5. I like it. Okay, so now quickly, let's crank through this. You can get going. What are the steps to isolate the x here? What do I have to do first here? Summer, what do I do first? Add 5. Good. First step is add 5. Okay, that's good because I can cancel something. And I get 7 times the quantity x minus 2 squared equals 5. What's next? What's next here? Adam, what are you going to do next to isolate that x? Good, divide by 7. All right, so we divide both sides by 7, and the 7's cancel, and it's even better. We're getting closer. So I get x minus 2 squared equals 5/7. Okay, what's next here? Austin, what's next? Square root. Good, I got to get rid of that squared. Excellent. So we'll square root both sides. And that's good because that's going to cancel the squared. Okay, and then we're going to get x minus 2 by itself equals, now let's deal with this square root first of all. We got to simplify the square root of 5/7. So let's do just a little quick side work here. So the square root of 5/7. So let's just go through the steps to simplifying now. What's the first thing I would probably do here? Separate it, good. So I get square root of top divided by square root of bottom, because I can't reduce 5/7. Oops, that doesn't look like a 5. Okay, good. But there's still something wrong with that. Brock, what's wrong with that picture? No tent in the basement. I can't have that tent in the basement, so what do I have to do? Multiply top and bottom by square root of 7. Good. Okay, and the reason we're doing that is because on the bottom, the square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is what? 7. So then we get for our answer, on the bottom we get a 7. On the top, I get a square root of 5 times the square root of 7. Those are both inside numbers, so what's the product going to be? Yeah, square root of 35. They're compatible. I can multiply them because they're both inside numbers. And so that's what this is going to simplify to, right? So this is equal to the square root of 35 over 7. But what do I need to include? Plus or minus, because of the square root property. I square rooted both sides, so I've got to include plus or minus. Last step, add 2 where? In front. So I'm canceling the 2's, and I get my solutions. X equals 2 plus or minus square root of 35 over 7. So again, if I'm entering this in the computer, I would just make this 2 plus square root of 35 over 7 and 2 minus square root of 35 over 7. Good? Have at it.